Daniel Ricciardo has 8 Formula 1 victories and nearly 230 Grand Prix starts in Formula 1. So with a CV like that, you'd imagine that he'd have a lot of suitors for the 2023 season. That's not really the case. It looks like Daniel Ricciardo won't be on the grid next year, with only one seat left to fill, assuming Logan Sargent gets his super license points and gets the seat at Williams. Then that just leaves the half seat alongside Kevin Magnussen. But it doesn't look like Daniel Ricciardo's even in the running for that seat at the minute. I don't think Haas could match his wages, and I don't think that they would be able to give him a car that he would require or request of a new team going into next season. And it does beg the question, will we see Daniel Ricciardo back on the grid in Formula 1 ever again? There's been rumours circulating that he has a reserve driver seat for next season. Everyone thought it would be Mercedes, but it's looking likely that it probably won't be them. Maybe a return to Red Bull might be on the cards, but again, would he really fancy that? Going back to where he could have started before. But looking ahead to 2024, when would be the next opportunity for Daniel Ricciardo to get back into Formula 1, I'm not exactly sure where he's going to slot in. I looked up and down the grid and I feel like a lot of the drivers and a lot of the teams are kind of set for 2024. I know it's a long way away, but you look at Mercedes, I guess Lewis Hamilton might retire and the spot could become available there, but surely that Mercedes would be looking at someone who's been in better form in recent years, maybe like a Lando Norris or something like that. Red Bull, I don't see why they get rid of Perez at this point. Verstappen's obviously sealed there, but I don't see why they get rid of Perez, because he's done a very good job this year, and they're going to cruise to the Constructors' title. He has a good chance of finishing second in the Drivers' Championship himself, so I don't see why they get rid of him unless he has an absolute shocker in 2023. Ferrari look pretty set. McLaren, he's obviously not going to go back there. Alpine looks set with Ocon and Gasly. Aston Martin looks set with Alonso and with Stroll. So you're looking then Alfa Romeo. I think Valtteri Bottas will be there. Zhou Guanyu maybe, could be let go, but I think Theo Pourchaire is waiting in the wings for that slot. Williams, like I said, Logan Sargent will be in that seat eventually, whether it's next year or the year after. I don't think they'll move on Albon. Can't see him going to AlphaTauri. They've got Tsunoda, and now they're going to have Nick De Vries, who I think will probably be their driver lineup before 2024. Unless maybe Tsunoda has a shocker and they bring in someone like Liam Lawson or Dennis Hauger. And then that leaves you with Haas again, and I just can't see him going to Haas. I don't think they'll be able to afford his wage demands. Kevin Magnussen will be out of contract then, and we'll obviously have to see whether they retain Mick Schumacher or if they go with somebody different. But I genuinely think this could be the end of Daniel Ricciardo in Formula 1. We know how difficult it is to get back in once you're out of it. You look at Nico Hülkenberg, who funnily enough has been actually linked with the Haas seat, but he left, the end of 2019, and he hasn't been back in since. So I'm just not sure that, given Daniel Ricciardo's performances over the last 2 years, that there would be a team willing to take a punt on him. They might think he's damaged goods, and out of the ones that maybe would be willing to take a punt, which would be Haas, I'm not sure they'll be able to meet his ambitions of a car capable of winning. So that begs the question, where does he go? So does he maybe try and go to IndyCar, which he seems to already have taken off the table himself by saying that he's afraid of ovals? Maybe NASCAR. I think maybe that might fit his ambitions in a sense. But it's fairly clear that his heart is still set on Formula 1. He still believes he can win at this level, and look, he proved that in Monza last year. Positive moments in his McLaren time have been fleeting, but that's certainly up there. So I just think that we could be seeing the end of Daniel Ricciardo in Formula 1. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does get another shot at it, but after the last 2 years I just struggle to see where he slots back in. But I guess stranger things have happened. Either way, he's had a great career. I think most people would want to see him back on the grid in the coming years. But either way, let me know what you think will happen with Daniel Ricciardo in the coming years in the comments below. Do you think he is going to be a reserve driver for another team next season? Do you think he'll get back in onto the grid in 2024? Or do you think he'll try his luck elsewhere? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next podcast.